Greetings, YouTube. Yesterday I read an article about a high school student. He had an unloaded shotgun in his truck, off campus, parked on the street. And a bomb-sniffing dog picked up the scent of gunpowder, a hit. And for some strange reason, he let them search his vehicle, and he was expelled. They had a hearing, I guess, of some variety, and it was actually a public hearing at the request of his parents, and they decided to expel him. And this is an outgrowth of these zero-tolerance policies that have become so incredibly common in the U.S. education system. And I'm not really happy with them. I don't approve of zero-tolerance policies, because I think what zero-tolerance policies encourage is zero-thought policies. They are a wonderful boilerplate for a school administrator to slap across their ass, and they can then use the excuse, oh, I was just doing what the school district told me to. They don't have to think, they don't have to make a judgment, they can avoid all potential risk of litigation, they're not going to get sued, they can just point to the people above them and say, go blame them. So yeah, any process that completely removes the decision making of a person whose job is decision making is what I'm opposed to. But in a greater sense, this particular case bothers me because it was specifically brought up that the vehicle in question was within 1,000 feet of the school. So what they're saying is that within 1,000 feet of a school property, even though you are not on school property, because the student is in school, his vehicle is considered to be on school property. So what happens to a student that lives within 1,000 feet of school? Now, I don't know where you live, but where I live, there are lots of schools that are plopped right down next to homes. In fact, the fondest memory I ever had is my grammar school, and that is literally within a basketball shot of the nearest house. I know we've chucked more than one ball of some variety into someone else's yard. So if those people had students that went to that school, not a really difficult thing to imagine, does that mean that they can't keep firearms in their own vehicles or within their own home? What about people that just drive through the neighborhood of that school with firearms in their vehicles, with or without a student in the vehicle? Does that mean they're breaking the law just by driving down the street with a student and a firearm in the car at the same time? I don't like these policies. As I've said in the past, I am a proponent of firearm ownership, even though I have to freely admit that many of the people who seem to most want to own a firearm are often the people I want least to own one. But I respect people's right to do so. I have a problem with this. Where do you draw the line? How do you affect the lives of others with this policy? I definitely think that part of the problem is that a school administration will think, oh, well, I thought it was dangerous, and the intent becomes the code. That because he wanted to protect the children, which is a wonderful blanket statement that is appealing to people's emotional thinking, that because he wanted to protect the children, that somehow that excuses stamping all over someone else's rights. So yes, this bothers me. I don't approve. I hope that this family can fight this in court, even if it does involve them having to hire a lawyer. And they're smart. They will also sue for emotional damages to cover the court costs, which is only fair. The school started this process. They should definitely cover the costs of this proceeding. Another thing someone else brought up is that while police dogs are useful tools, and they are useful tools, they are in many cases uncalibrated tools. Now this may not mean much to most people, but I used to be an inspector. I spent years inspecting parks, and you had tools which had been calibrated so that all of them would perform the same way. All of them could be relied upon to measure things in exactly the same manner. So if I picked up a tool and I measured an object that was an inch long, every one of the tools in that shop would measure that object as an inch long. You can't do that level of calibration with a dog. No matter how well trained, no matter how well how skilled that dog is, dog A, B, and C are going to get hits differently. They're not going to get them the same. And you factor in the people who are controlling the dogs. What is their desire? Do they really want to find something there? Are they going to be more likely to get false positives? Are they reading the body language of the person who they are searching their property of? Does this person look guilty? So is the dog getting the hit? Or is the person interpreting the dog's information in a way that supports what that handler wants the dog to hit? So yes, I have a problem that this was done with a sniffing dog that you can't truly calibrate. I look forward to the point in the future where we can find a way of calibrating our animal helpers. So I'm fully encouraged to use animals in this way. Dog sense of smell is about 10,000 times better than ours. So, it's a very useful tool. But I also look forward to the point in the future where maybe we'll have some technology which can be truly calibrated that will do the same thing. Molecular scanners essentially picking up trace elements. The ones they currently use now in airports are not good, but someday there may be something like that. So I think it's bringing up a number of issues, but overall I think the root cause to all these problems is zero tolerance policies that remove the decision-making process from people who get paid to make decisions.